started by Mr. Stanley Zimmerman and his best friend and architect, Earl Rubenstein. So, let's see. This is pretty cool. I've never had this many people on the show at once. I said that before. So, we have almost 130, I think, mostly American cars. We're an American car driving museum. We do have a little corner when we go up to the main floor. We've got a little British picnic up over there with pictures of, like some sculling row place and everything. So we have a little bit of British going on, but we're mostly American. This room that we're in, the 1930s showroom, as it was termed when they were writing about the museum, is temperature controlled. All the time, it's 77 degrees, never changes, with power backup. A bit much being Southern California, but that's okay because we're just ventilated in there. But in this room, we keep mostly at a permanent place our most valuable cars. That's the way we can control how many people come in and out. Because out on the floor, with docent assistance, we encourage people to get in our cars, to feel them, to smell them, to find out what it was like in that particular era when the car happened. And sometimes it's for people who are doing research and are young and have never experienced it before. A lot of times, like for me, it's like, God, I remember this car when I was a kid, or my dad, my uncle, or my grandmother had this fantastic Buick. And so we put people in our cars. We like to be known as the petting museum of little museums. Here in this room, I will start just briefly with these cars over here to your left. The white car is a Packard dual cowl convertible. You'll notice that it's got a piece of window glass that goes up between the front and back seats. That is a full convertible. Goes all the way down. It will pop up. It is very, very well insulated. It's one of 3 senior Packard convertibles that we have here at the Automobile Driving Museum. The car to its right with the open chauffeur compartment, we're very proud to have because that was President Franklin Delano Roosevelt's car when he was in the White House. The car is all original. You'll notice it's a small car for a president. He did not want to, of course, appear pretentious in front of the American public during the time of the Great Depression. After White House service, it became Mrs. Roosevelt's favorite car. She used the car until she was quit being driven. Is that good English? She used the car until she stopped, and we're very proud to have a presidential car here in our collection. The red car, if you walk around it up on the front bumper, you'll see a picture of Mr. Clark Gable receiving the cars to this automobile when he bought it. It's finished in a color called China Red. For those who know about Packards, Packards are mostly finished in darker colors. They were very understated. They represented the epitome of American elegance at the time. And to see one in a garish red caused shocking waves through the Packard community. Mr. Zimmerman promptly won major awards with the car after it was finished and shown, so he didn't really care if it was shocking. Same thing for that beautiful white convertible over there. You would never really see that type of car finished in white. What's next? See that 3-wheel thing right there? That started it all. That is one of 11 replicas commissioned by Mercedes-Benz of Mr. Benz's first contraption that started it all. That's it. It does run. We take it out. I'm going to walk over just a little bit to show you a little bit. So, pardon me. So this is the flywheel. You can see the piston. It's right here. Everything was exposed. Watch your fingers through these gears. Here's your transmission. It's a fabric belt. It's a continual variable transmission. There's no speed. There's up and back.
How's that go?
It's actually, but there's got a chug on top of that, so you really don't hear the rare very much. It's mostly. So, here we go. This is an example of a Packard flat inline 8-cylinder engine. We mostly know today of V8s. It's been a long time since they were flat 8s. They were big, they were heavy, they were incredibly dependable with a great amount of torque, and it was what we had before the V8. So there you go. If you turn around to that gray car, one of my very favorite cars in the collection, one of our most expensive as far as value goes, and one of the rarest. It's one of 2 Wayman body 1930 Stutz Monte Carlo saloons ever made. It is the only one left. The other one's gone. It's gone because if you walk by, and again, we encourage you to touch our cars. It is covered in fabric like an old biplane. This is an ash body frame. Go ahead and open it, feel how light the doors are. Covered in fabric. So although it's incredibly luxurious looking, this is a racing saloon. Big engine, light body, really fast. Of course, that's just that fabric over the metal part of the hood.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is all upholstered, including the roof. So, I mentioned earlier that we're the only car museum that takes people out for rides in our cars. Normally, on top of this oil spot that I'm standing, is a car that looks very similar to this car. It's out front for rides today. I encourage you to ride in it. I'll talk briefly about it so you can compare it to this car, which I'll talk about next. The car out front is a K-bodied Lincoln Town car. It's black and silver. It has an open chauffeur's compartment just like this car. This is open, it has doors. It's not that open, but we are redoing the doors because the interiors of the doors are wood, and the metal is actually not structural but decorative, all individually hand hammered, and everything that happens in the doors, all the window rolling up and all that mechanism, everything is mounted through actual plywood. Over the years, plywood and other wood does dry rot, so this is a conservation project that we have going right now. We'll put these doors back on. It's very close to being ready, we hope. Back to this other car right here. If I take this piece, what you can see is raw wood. We've had to reproduce this. When you want this to be covered, when the chauffeur just can't take those outside weather, you put this up underneath like this and it becomes a more closed car. I take this same piece right here, of course put the other side, and I put it right here because this is where that other car normally sits, right here. This same piece works on both cars, even though this car, which you'll see out front, is a Lincoln, and this car is a Pierce Arrow. Different car manufacturers, but the body is done by the same coach maker. In this case, it's Brunn, B-R-U-N-N. Yes, sir.
Did you mention
Questions?
about the ride and drive?
I just mentioned that the twin of this car, that we're talking about, is out on ride and drive.
Yeah, so if any of you guys want to ride in that after we're done here, you can take the Lincoln around the block.
Yeah, we have a regular, goes, thanks Tim. What else can I tell you about our showroom? The chandeliers and some of the metalwork were made by Oscar Bach, a famous metalworker that did the Empire State Building, what's that, and the Chrysler Building. Did all the metalwork for those buildings as well as other places around. That's what he did. He did produce a lot of stuff, but it was extremely high quality and lovely, and we found those in a wrecking yard, and kind of gives us a little ambiance in here. Let me check and see where if you guys want to go out and meet in the middle of the museum floor, I'll show you how it's laid out, and we can talk about questions and stuff too. And you don't have to worry, you can wander. Come out there.
There you have it. This edition of the Auto Driving Museum, the private collection. We'll move outside. I'm down on reporting live in El Segundo. We're out.